It's not just as simple as like a mirror, right? It's like it can be a communication, it's an access point, essentially. Like Lion, Witch in the Wardrobe, Harry Potter, like all those things, like that should be emphasized.
It's also a social portal.
Yeah. And these times of Web 3.0.
It's good.
Hi everyone, I'm John Tai, the co-founder, partner here at Hatch Duo.
Hey guys, I'm Karen. I'm the industrial designer here at Hatch Duo.
So today we're going to talk to you guys about the VR portal mirror that we designed. Basically what it is it's a smart hardware piece that sits on your wall and gives you a glimpse of your metaverse world through the real world. And you can basically see through that mirror. Our studio likes to do these kinds of experimental projects whenever new technologies are introduced, and maybe they're not necessarily always adopted very quickly because it's very new, right? And so some of the questions that came about were, does that seamless experience, is that involve a digital UI or is it more of a physical hardware experience?
How do we actually seamlessly blend the virtual world and the real world? For the virtual world experience, how do we integrate that into our five senses around human body and really make us feel immersive into that whole VR experience?
Mm-hmm. And even like thinking about the actual hardware platform itself, how does it enhance the physical real world experience, right? Obviously we're thinking about things like VR headsets, which are kind of clunky right now, but thinking a little farther ahead, how does that universe that allows you to enter, what other hardware pieces would we be interacting with? What might those look like? Here's an example. There's a VR headset that kills you, that can actually kill you if you die in the game. There's like all over Hypebeast.
Is that real?
It's real. Yeah.
And is that legal?
No, they can't release it, but they said the technology exists, right? So it's saying how do you make hardware give you the five senses digitally?
We're looking at the smart mirror in the shopping mall, where when the customers stand in front of the mirror, they can see themselves wearing different clothes that they want to try in the store, or even some smart mirror just at home that they can stand in front, look at their reflection, and know exactly what they want to dress up for the day. So similar to that, we're looking at we look at those as inspiration, but we are focused more into how would we use this reflection as a portal for us to bring us into the VR world.
Yeah, the metaverse world. So I think to Karen's point, the mirror aspect of it is, instead of trying on clothes, you're trying on your avatars, right? So if you look at things like Artifact and what Artifact and Nike are doing with these skins, now you can look at the mirror and instead of putting on all this crazy head hardware, which, that's the biggest criticism, right, is having to put on heavy headsets and things like that to enter this world. Now you can just peer right into this world, pretty large, full scale, and see what your avatar looks like. So, in real life, you may look like a certain way, and in your avatar life you may look like a mech, or have really cool hair or clothes or shoes or whatnot, and you can kind of peer into that without having to put on that headset. And it's this nice almost two-way furniture piece that allows you to you could probably use it as a real mirror, right, to change your clothes on a daily basis, but you can also check on your digital self as well, which is really cool. We
noticed that people naturally react or pay attention to themselves, especially their reflection. Whenever they stand in front of a mirror, they will definitely look at themselves, and the first thing that a lot of people will do when they wear a VR is they will look at their hands. Oh, this is real, right? This is what I'm seeing right now. It's not my hand, but it's something in the other world. What if we change that? Instead of seeing only their hands, they see their whole body with a brand new themselves in front of the mirror. That's what we're trying to achieve, to really bring that whole experience, full body, into the home on the wall.
Yeah. And in that too, with just removing that nuanced task of putting something onto your head before you're able to see the metaverse space, I think removing that small little aspect gets it a little more immersive, right? Because when you're putting on the VR headset, it's like this action of like, okay, I'm putting on this hardware, now I can see this. But if you just wake up in the morning and you're looking at the mirror, or you're walking by and you're actually looking at it, the realities of what's happening in the metaverse and what's happening in real life, it starts to get very blended, which is, you know, like how our team designed the bezel to be a little translucent, so that blending of reality and metaverse, that starts to become a little bit more blurry, and that's basically what we're trying to experiment with.
When we're designing, we always try to think out of the box. For this project specifically, especially out of the box, because you know how new this technology is, or how new we're creating this experience. In that case, we're definitely trying to break the boundary that we have from other design experience and try to really think of what makes this project special.
You know, we always take a look at anything that we're trying to design in the same kind of process of trying to look at the interaction first. So definitely taking a look at the environment, the home, you know, who was going to be involved, and defining that interaction first before we actually get to the actual product. In that sense, I feel like that's very same. But yeah, like the metaverse is still fairly new to everyone. The utility of it is still kind of unanswered, right? Like, all right, now people are using it for collectibles and for avatars and things like that. And so we did kind of take that behavioral approach and contextually try to design the hardware around, you know, that other world, the second life world, in a sense. Yeah, so before we even decided to design anything, we tried to imagine, you know, future-wise, like what this use case scenario would be. So we did a lot of sketches on, you know, what this interaction might look like, you know, what we might be using and what kind of experience we would want.
Well, we definitely started with something that's far away from what we came up with. Instead of having the corners being really sharp and, you know, unfriendly for what we want to achieve, you know, seamless, rounded, really, you know, friendly, and give this sort of blurred out experience. The pill shape worked the best from our attempt, and in general, the frame being semi-transparent also really helped to blend the mirror reflection with whatever walls that will be used in the user's home. So basically, we wanted to do everything to achieve the seamless experience transaction.
Yeah, and just to add to that, just like looking at hardware experiences now with, let's call it smart fitness, with the Pelotons and the tonals and the things in the house, these items, which are, you know, generally, you know, at the surface level, it seems like everyday life stuff. These are technological advances in terms of how people exercise now, and they're becoming almost furniture items in the home. And so we thought, you know, how might we look at the metaverse and turn that into, you know, seamless furniture item as well into the home? How can we immerse ourselves into the metaverse without putting on so much hardware? Like that's part of like what we're trying to do, because we already know a lot of people are tackling, like, you know, like palm gloves, VR headsets, AR glasses, contact lenses, but like how can we do that without just using our senses that we have now without having to put on stuff? Like,
right.
It's like artificial hardware.
Right, but the design still requires VR, right?
Does it?
Yes.
I mean, it does, but then you don't always have to. Like, if you want to just look at it, you don't need your VR headset, right?
So basically, like, instead of just have the VR and see, oh, my hands changed, you see the whole body changed and the environment changed, and then you still wear the mirror, the VR, and you turn around, and what you see in the room is actually what you see in the mirror. So it's basically pulling you into the other side of the mirror.
What happens when you're looking at the mirror without the headset, though? Then what does it look like? You're seeing the actual world, right? The VR world.
You wear the headset and you smooth.
Yeah, then you go in.
Then
right?
you pull
yeah,
it.
Yeah.
It's all about immersive experience. What we had so far, so many different, you know, UI design, UX design. One thing that we see really lack of in the VR experience is how immersive it can get, from what from wearing a headset that you see partially of yourself. From the current technology and experience that we have, you wear the VR, you see partially of yourself being into that world. It has not yet give a fully immersive experience. What we're trying to do here is to really, through technology that we have, to pull you into the other world and make you feel fully immersive into the VR world. And that's what we're trying to do in this project.
The hardware itself acts as a bridge, right? So just as I keep using tonal, but it's because it's wall mounted too. Tonal shows you a trainer that's telling you to like lift this amount of weight and to do this kind of form. That is bridging you to almost feel like that trainer is with you right then and there, right? So similarly with our MetaMirror, we are bridging that metaverse world so that there's multiple access points aside from the VR headset to get into the world. Sure, when you put it on, you get fully sucked in, but like that instance right before, you get to look in and peek through, and there's your avatar, and it's looking right back at you, and it looks like how you designed it. So I think in that sense, it's multiple access points, touch points to bridge you into a digital world that otherwise could not be accessed really with your normal five senses. Here's a thought exercise. So what is the point of having a piece of hardware there when you immerse yourself into the VR headset where it's just all visual at that point? You're not looking at the mirror anyway. You're not looking at the mirror.
The point here is definitely to create the seamless transaction. So if you think about just wearing the headset and just look around, you don't feel like you're pulled into another world, right? You're basically just, there's a headset and I wear it, and it blocks my true view, it gives me this illusion. But when you're actually seeing through a mirror, what you will see is, I'm standing in this world. Here's me, and it's not the real me, but it's it's me. It's doing whatever I'm doing, gesture, and I see that in there. I don't wear anything, right? I'm just standing there without wearing any headset. It's like giving me an actual illusion of this is me in another world.
So it's reinforcing the digital, I guess, like the digital state at that point, right?
Yeah, and it's giving you a real seamless transaction. And when you look at the mirror, you see that here's me in the world, and you turn around, you still have all those visions in the virtual environment that you see. And you turn around, you see all those environment actually happening in your life. You know that you are the person inside of it. And when you turn around back to the mirror, you see, hey, there's the me in the real world. And you actually see the environment, and you actually see you wearing a VR, but the you that's standing there at that point becomes the virtual figure, and you're living in the world that you created.
What is the validation of having a physical mirror? Like I could program the mirror in the software to appear, like so that like there are mirrors, right? Like I play video games on the VR where you go up to a mirror and you're like a dinosaur.
How does that mirror actually captures the real you and your real environment for every single user? If it's in the program, I would say like some limitation. It will, if you wanted to capture the real environment, you will still need a camera somehow in the real world.
Right.
And the camera and the mirror that we have does.
So
that.
Is it mapping your living room then?
It is.
It's spatially mapping what the cameras in the mirror are seeing. Is spatially mapping it so that as you transition from real world to digital world, all the reference points from the real world of the chair being in the place you're standing in that same size, all of that should be represented in digital form.
When you walk in front of the mirror without a headset, you see your avatar.
Yes.
And you see the environment.
Yeah.
And once you wear the headset, you see the real you in the mirror. So the mirror gives you a transaction of when I'm wearing the headset, I'm in the virtual world. Right. And what I'm seeing in the mirror is the real world me. And
it's like reinforcing. It's reinforcing what you're seeing. The mirror is mapping, reflecting, doing everything it possibly can as reference points, real world wise, to then translate that into the VR program, whatever the program is that you're entering, so that it's like giving you the same reference points. Whereas if you just enter a VR game right now, like you put it on and you play Star Wars, for instance, that's not mapping your environment. That's just you're immersed into a specific game.
Right.
Whereas this is actually mapping your spatial, physical environment. Like if there's a table here, it should show some form of a table there.
It is, yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Like that's the difference. So I think that's the validation of creating hardware or hardware inputs, right? Like basically what the mirror is it's an input, right? Like there's multiple inputs right now. So we're seeing the metaverse be accessed from VR headsets, AR headsets, gloves, bodysuits, so you can feel it.
Mm-hmm.
The mirror is just like another access point. The more access points we can put into the real world to enhance your senses, then that's like more immersion. So that's why we have the mirror, right? You can use the mirror is actually, the mirror itself is kind of beyond the point. It's the cameras and the data inputs that you're putting into it allows you to like see spatially like what, you know,
right.
what you want to see in the real world. And then second to that, like I think it can act as a if you're able to like see yourself, you probably should be able to like communicate to your VR friends without having to put your headset on too.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have your gaming partner and they know where your your IP address is or your VR address is, they should be able to walk up to your mirror like Harry Potter,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like when
Mm-hmm.
when you're visiting, walk up and be like, hey Karen, and then you can see the avatar like waving to you.
You can actually see the
you
friends
can visit.
getting into your room.
Yeah, and then you're like, hey, like hold on, like I'll join you in a second. You know, it's really important for Hatchdo to do these kinds of projects to exercise creative thinking outside of client prompts, so that we can like stretch our thinking, the way we're solving problems, the way we are looking at new technologies as well, and having fun with it. So that's my closing thoughts on that.
Yeah, well, I definitely agree. And it's always good to practice to think out of the box, right? Doing VR or things that's non-existent right now definitely will open up more possibilities, and basically what all the human or all the designers are doing is to keep pushing the boundaries to, you know, give everyone more possibility or enhance the imagination. So definitely keep practicing, keep generating ideas, and we're really looking forward for how the VR and AR development goes in the future.
Thanks for watching. Feel free to subscribe to our channel, follow along for more content, and
We'll see you in the next one.
let's hatch awesome.